Hello, and welcome to Reeves Library. Today, we're going to talk about how to do a full and effective search using our discovery tool. This can be found on the library homepage at library.westminster-mo.edu. But first, let's talk about what the discovery search is. Well, here it is located on the website, but there are a few things you should know before we get started. It's the main search bar on the library homepage. This means it will always be easily visible and quick to access right on the front page. It works like our own personal Google that has information that isn't open to people outside of Westminster. You can research a topic and it will search many of our databases at one time. Just like Google, it will show you a list of relevant websites. Discovery will show you a list of relevant resources from hundreds of locations. This makes casting a wide net in your research easier than ever. Discovery also allows you to search many different kinds of resources at one time. You can search for peer-reviewed articles, ebooks, videos, and more. It's also a great starting point for any level of research. Since you can look at so many different sources at once, it's a great place to start your research for any project. You can browse a specific topic before moving on to a more subject-specific database. And finally, Discovery is super user-friendly. So let's go ahead and dive into the tutorial and see how Discovery works. So now here we are at the library website, and I'm going to click over here at Discovery on Advanced Search. This is going to allow us to type in our keywords just a little bit easier. If you're off campus, you'll want to click this banner at the top to log in with your full name and student ID number with a WC at the end. Once you have logged in, you can start your search. We can see that the lines are broken up for us here in the top left corner with the words "and" in between. This is going to allow us to search what we at the library call Boolean operators. Basically, what that means is we're going to put an "and" between our main ideas and an "or" between similar words. For example, my research question is going to be how climate change has affected polar bears. So my first idea is going to be climate change, and my second main idea is going to be polar bear. This is how you use the "and" in research. We're searching climate change and polar bears. But what about using the "or" I mentioned earlier? Well, we can group similar phrases together on the same line. For example, I can do climate change or global warming. Those are similar ideas, but they are different words. One researcher might use the word climate change, and the other researcher might use the phrase global warming. So now that I have climate change or global warming, my results are going to show every article that mentions climate change or global warming. And I won't miss out on any of the research that is relevant to my research question. Not every line has to use an "or", so I'm going to leave polar bear just the way it is because polar bear is the specific kind of animal I am wanting to focus in on. We can press search and we can look at our results. So one thing I always like to look at when I search is the search result number up here at the top. So everything we do after this point will be getting this number down by narrowing our result to best suit our needs. There are lots of different ways we can narrow our results, but before we do any narrowing, let's look at the kind of results we're getting in our search. So if I look under our search result number, I can see all of our entries here. So this first entry is going to be an ebook. So it'll tell you what kind of resource it is before you even click on it, which can be really helpful if you're looking for a specific kind of thing. So here we have an ebook with a PDF full text, so you can read the whole ebook. And here we have a periodical. So a periodical is just a fancy library word for a magazine or something that's published regularly. We also have newspapers. And here we have an academic journal, which has peer-reviewed articles. So if you ever need peer-reviewed research, you'll want to make sure you're looking for an academic journal. There are a lot of different kinds of resources here, but let's say that we're looking for a specific kind of resource. It can be kind of tricky to look through every single one of these entries to find the right kind of resource for our assignment. There are a few different things we can do here. On this left side, under Refine Results, we have some options that will help us. So under this Limit To, you can click peer reviewed if you know that you're looking for peer reviewed articles. Under source type, we can look for other kinds of resources like magazines, newspapers, academic journals. Another way you can limit to peer reviewed articles. Or we can look for ebooks if you know that you're looking for an ebook. Today, I'm going to click the peer reviewed button, but know that you can limit by any source type. Once I've clicked it, it will automatically update our search, where now we are searching for climate change or global warming and polar bears with academic journals with peer-reviewed content. We can see that our search result number has gone down quite a bit just by filtering out all of those resource types that I wasn't interested in looking at. So now we have lots of academic journals we can look through. So let's look at these results a little bit. A trick that will be helpful is you can look at the subject line here. So this will have main ideas that will cover this article. So if the subject line has my keywords in it, I know that this is probably going to be a good source for me to look at. So it has polar bears and global warming, because sometimes my keywords won't show up in the title, but they might show up here in the subject line. So that will help me know what the resource is really about before I click on the title to learn more. So I can see that the second one doesn't mention polar bears, but mentions global warming and climate change. But this third one mentions climate change and polar bears. So this might be something I'm interested in looking at. There's a few different ways we can actually access these articles. So we can see that some of these have PDF full texts. Some have something called a full text finder, and others say request this item through interlibrary loan. So if it has a PDF full text, you can just click on it and open it up right now and read the whole thing. So if it has a full text finder, you can click on that and it will try and find the article for you somewhere else. If you have any issues with that, you can reach out to the library staff. The last type of way you can access is through something called interlibrary loan. Interlibrary loan is a way that you can borrow digital articles from other libraries. So if you find an article that we don't have access to, you can click this, request this item through interlibrary loan, and it will take you to the interlibrary loan request form. All you have to do is fill out your personal information at the top. It has automatically filled out the information for the article you're wanting to request. And then at the bottom, just click submit. So once this form gets entered to us, we will process it, find the library that will allow us to borrow it, and then this article will be sent to your email in a few days. It's a really great way to get access to articles all over the world that maybe Reeves Library just doesn't have yet. But let's look at one more way we can refine. So one extra thing that we can do is look at the publication date. So right now I'm looking at articles that were published in 1972 to 2021. That's a big time frame. For research, it's always good to start within the last 5 to 7 years. I'm going to start with 2015, and when I press enter, it will automatically update. So now I'm looking for climate change or global warming and polar bears that are peer-reviewed articles published between 2015 and 2021. So let's say this article here is one I'm interested in looking at. So I can click on the title. So this page can tell us a little more about this article. So we can see that we have the authors with the source, what journal it came from, the year, so I know it was published in 2020. And these are the subject terms. So this will help me get an idea of what's going to be covered. And the abstract will be a nice introduction to the article. One thing you might want to look at in the source line is how many pages it's going to be. Academic articles are usually kind of long, so you'll want to prepare. This one's going to be 20 pages. You can get a HTML version of it below, or you can come over here to the left-hand side and open the PDF full text. This will allow you to download it like any regular PDF. If you're wanting to save this page, there's a few different things you can do. Over here in the tools on the right-hand side, there's a couple ways we can save. If we click on this email, opens up right above the title, and it allows us to type in an email, as many emails as we like, a subject line, any comments, and if it has a PDF, it will attach the PDF to the email, as well as try and send you some citations. So you can click the citation format and click any citation style you're interested in getting. Another thing you can do is you can save what we call the permalink. So in the tools box near the bottom, there's a button there that says permalink. You can open that up, and again, it'll open a new box just above the title, and it will give you a new URL. This URL will work on or off campus for as long as you keep access to the link. So as long as you have it, you will be able to get back to this exact page. If you use the URL at the top, it will not work again later. So it's important to know if you need a URL for access or for a citation, you'll want to find the permalink. One other thing I want to mention is the citation tool. So we talked about citations briefly with the email, but you can just download the citation for the article without the email. The cite button is in the middle of the tools box, but note that these are computer generated, so you might want to pay close attention to the formatting. There is a little notice at the top here to pay special attention to names, capitalization, and dates, as if you are needing a correct citation, sometimes these formats are not exactly correct. So while it is the correct information in the correct order, double check before you submit your assignment and make sure that the formatting is correct. But it's very helpful to be able to copy and paste these into your assignment. Just double check that the formatting is the right way for your particular citation style. Before we wrap up today, there's one last thing I want to show you back in the result list. So if we go back to our main search results here, there's actually some ways that we can save our search and pick up right where we leave off later on. So if you've started a search maybe in class, or you just don't have time to keep searching and you want to search again later, but don't want to start completely over from scratch, you can actually send this search results to yourself. So under our search history, you can click on the share button, and it will give you a new permalink at the very bottom that goes directly to this exact search with all your limiters and your keywords saved. So if you copy that link and send that to yourself, you will be able to click on it later and just jump right back in where you left off, which can be a really helpful tool if you are under a time crunch, or if you're doing the same kind of research maybe over a whole semester and you want to be able to keep revisiting the same search very quickly. If you're off campus, you'll have to log in with your full name and your student ID number with the WC at the end, but it'll bring you right back to this page, which will be really helpful in the long run. So that is a very quick introduction to our discovery search. But remember, if you ever have any questions, the library staff are here to help. You can reach out to us using our 24/7 chat on the library homepage, or you can always email us at reeves.library@westminster-mo.edu.